we have the community to share of us the all of us of our insight, our enlightenment, our lessons. Kelly, you want to say something before I?
Yeah, okay. My dear teacher, one more lesson that we have the total karma, and we have evil deed, um, and evil deed cause others suffer. So they will encounter undesirable outcomes, and good deed will make others happy. Like when we make others happy, we accumulate good deeds, and we will counter desirable outcomes. And if we want to get married, we if we have merit, uh, we we help others achieve enlightenment, liberation, and raise inner awareness or wisdom, the third level of others. So we get merit. And one lesson that I learned yesterday from Miss Trang is we must consider carefully because before we do charity, because while something might bring happiness to somebody, to some people, it could also unintentionally cause suffering or unhappiness to others, like that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing and joining with us. So, hello. Wow, you are so beautiful. And thank you for Miss Kelly for sharing, for giving your opinion, giving your insight to us. It's very important for each of us to share because it applies the legacy of wisdom from not only ourselves but from our generation, from generation and to us, so we can share to each other to get the insight of others. Thank you. And I can see you. It's time to welcome our main sharer for today. And I'm very thankful for her beauty, not only her beauty, but the gratitude energy has come from the heart of her, can touch some of us and even all of us to receive not only the wisdom, but also the energies from the eyes, from the heart of her. Give big hugs and hearts for Miss Trang for sharing. Thank you so much for all of you sharing with me already today. And it's time to welcome Miss Trang. Thank you so much. Hello, Miss Trang.
Hello, Trang, cô Triều. Thank you ever so much for a great introduction. Chào cả nhà. Chào cô Kelly.
Hello, Miss Trang.
Còn chào anh Bình. Okay. Where's everyone gone? Này là mọi người đâu rồi nhỉ? Probably need to call Colin Lay in so the whole Australian groups can attend as well. Does anyone joined Người Một Nhà programs going on recently? I mean, apart from anh Bình, obviously. Nhà mình có ai mấy bữa nay tham gia chương trình Người Một Nhà của cộng đồng quốc tế không? Cộng đồng Úc không? Okay, it's going on like an hour after we end this session, every day for the next 21 days. There will be 21 sessions about fulfilled awareness of human beings. And all those Australians Mentor 7 actually running the whole programs, and then we have the collaborations of America, Japan, and Germany. Yes. So all 4 countries. There's the connection, the collaboration between 4 countries. So there will be the main session, and there will be 3 different breakout rooms. So each breakout room will be the translation of Japanese, and English. In the futures, I believe that the program is going to get bigger with many other languages as well. So if you have the opportunity to join it, it will be great. Yesterday we have already talking about the 3 fields of the human energetic structure, and today we're going to finish the rest of the diagram, which we're going to looking at what is total karma, what involved in it. Okay. But before I'm going ahead, anyone who joined yesterday's session, okay, have any questions at all? Don't know if anyone the iPhone, what's your name? I can change your name on the screen. I can have to change your name, just let me know. You cannot hear anything. You double check your mic. Okay. Or you can just type on the chat box, and I will have to change your name.
Hello, teacher.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear now.
My Xuân Phan.
Hi, some fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have remembered your name by now, but so okay. Maybe just Sun. Right. Thank you. Just for now, like that. Were you did you attend yesterday's session? Hello, chào chị Hoa. Okay. Just
Hello, cô Trang.
chào anh Ngọc Phước.
Hello, everybody.
I still couldn't hear you, chị Xuân. There's a certain sound, but I couldn't hear anything that's coming out.
Yeah. Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear it now. Did you attend yesterday's session?
Oh, I have a lesson impression enlightenment yesterday. Before I'm a introvert person.
Yes.
Truly introvert person. Yeah. So I don't want to commute with body. I just like to be alone. But when I know 7 light offering,
Yeah.
I change so much. Before when I want to offer anybody, I think and I don't want to commute with them so much. So now I know to commute with them, and I know about offering. I did my offering and cross offering too. So it make me feel happy.
So by seeing other people happy, you're also happy. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so we're going to continue yesterday's session and start looking at some different awareness. Okay, this is an awareness that sometime in our lives, most of us, some of us, we believe that our life is determined by fate. Yeah. Sometimes we believe that our life is determined by fate, and which means is already destined. Okay, which dictates things as they are and not by fixed astrological signs of one life, which imply no possibility of change. You cannot do anything. Your life is fixed. Okay, doesn't matter how hard you try. That is the way it is. Okay, doesn't matter how much you do, how hard you work. Your life is already determined. Okay, and some people go to a fortune teller who say they will have 2 husbands, for example, and they believe in that. That's their fate, right? And they, but then later on, when they actually have the second husband, they think about it. They argue. They break up with the first husband, believing that the second one will last longer. But then the whole story repeat again. Okay. Thing doesn't last as long as they think it is, but then they have to settle with the second husband because that's what their fate is. That's what the fortune teller told them. Okay, and some other people who don't believe in fate, but they believe in something called destiny. Destiny. And is a concept that refers to a person's life as determined and already determined by some being above that already settled that life for them. And either we believe in fate or we believe in destiny. Somehow we won't be able to do anything with our life. We won't be able to transform. We won't be able to change. We won't be able to do anything better. Okay. And there are, hello, chào chị Linh Lê. And we has been pointed out from a sage, a wise person has pointed out to us that rather than believe in fate, believe in destiny, okay, it's better for us to believe in something called karma. Okay, karma, and from there we have the terms total karma. That's where that's from. So our karma is what we can change, we can transform, we can make a choice within our karma by act differently, by think differently, and by elevating our awareness, we'll be able to transform our life. Okay. So that leads us to the term total karma. Total karma. Right. Total karma. Oh, my screen just disappeared. Do you still see my screen, everyone? It's not. It's gone. There you go.
Yes, I see now.
Okay. Hello, chào Lý Trọng Nghĩa. Right. So there's total karma. There's three different aspects of total karma that we have. One is our consciousness, which we call the total karmic consciousness. And secondly, we have the conditions, which we call the total karmic condition. And lastly, we have the outcome in total karma, and we call it total karmic outcome. Okay. Total karmic outcomes. And our life is determined by total karma. In certain aspects, our life is determined by total karma if we unable to raise our awareness. Prior to awareness, we unable to change our life. Okay, but when we elevate our awareness, okay, total alma still manage our life, but we have the right to choose. Okay, so if we do not yet have awareness, do not yet have awareness, or in another word, if we do not yet have conscious thought, then things will naturally be arranged by total karma. But if we have conscious thought, we can shape our total karma according to our desire. So understanding this, we won't be able to blame any other people's. Okay? We cannot blame our husband, our wife, our children, because our total karma determines that at that point in time, we have to bear that karmic outcomes. At that point in time, we have to bear that karmic condition. And at different point in time, we'll be able to open up our karmic consciousness. So, in this life, we go around, before we know about total karma, we now go around begging from this person and that person, asking some kind of being to grant us certain thing we want in life. But it's all actually depend on our total karma. Some people don't know this, so they keep asking and asking for more from someone called the higher above. But instead of waiting, let's say 3 to more years to have what we desire, okay, they play trick to get it earlier. And for some unknown reason, they get it sooner and they feel happy. But they don't realize that using what they having what they having now earlier, that will cause suffering later. And people create comfort and forget to accumulate good deed and merit, which will lead to a life full of suffering in the future. So in this world, no one gives anything to anyone. Okay. In reality, we see that Okay, most of our desirable outcome in life we have to pay by either our total karmic consciousness, total karmic condition, or total karmic outcomes. Okay, so if we don't have that karmic consciousness, if we cannot give it to share this knowledge to anyone. So unless you realize that you don't have what you have now and you start cultivating anew, you will reap the fruit in the future. If you don't have it, you can never give it to anyone. So therefore, some people, they attend the class but they don't understand the knowledge because they don't have that what's called karmic consciousness. And that's karmic consciousness. No matter how much our teacher explain or explain to you, you still don't understand it. How we know we have a lot of life before? So we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there in a minute. So before I'm going to explain what Sung asked her questions, I don't remember any life before. Okay, right. So we have the terms. There's a term called, the concept called imprinting. There's a concept called imprinting. Okay, so there's a concept called imprinting, which is a term poorly related to our inner being. And we must remember this term to use it. So using this term will help us to better understanding of our own inner being. Okay. So imprinting is a term that can be understood simply as human being. When the message conveyed to us, or the message we receive from the eyes outside through our hearing, through our seeing, through our saying, through our knowing. Yeah. And that's passed through our the layer of our human nature and emotion. Okay? Pass through our human nature and emotion. Okay. Then begin to store in our subconscious. Okay. Let me repeat. Imprinting is a term that simply can be understood that as human being, the message we receive from the outside through hearing, seeing, saying, knowing, pass through our layer of human nature and emotions, then begin to start in our subconscious. Okay, and let's imagine this rectangles is our subconscious garden. Okay. So let's imagine this rectangle is our subconscious garden. Okay. So the human subconscious is like a garden, a fertile land. Yeah. And experts have researched and help us understand that the message from the outside that are transmitted into our subconscious contain a vast number of seeds. So there's a lot of seeds in this garden. Okay. This is the garden of subconscious. Right. And however, they categorize the seed into 3 types. There's 3 types of seeds in this garden. And no matter how large the garden is, it only contains 3 types of seeds, which later on grow into 3 types of tree. Okay? So the first type of seed we call consciousness. So there's a lot of conscious the seed in here, we call it consciousness. So this is the first type of seed. Right. The second type of seed, we call it condition. And the last type of seed, we call it outcome. So they have 3 types of seeds later on growing up to become 3 different types of tree. Okay, so the third one is the outcome seed. So consciousness. So these are the types of seeds in our subconscious garden. Okay, let me go back to the previous slide and explain to you what does it mean when we say the total karmic consciousness, the total karmic condition, the total karmic outcome. Okay, because these start in our subconscious garden. So our subconscious garden contains the seed of consciousness, the seed of condition, the seed of the outcome. Yeah, and we have the total. So these are three types of seeds in our garden. Okay, and the combination of them we call the total karma. Total karma, right? So in our subconscious we have the total karmic consciousness, the total karmic condition, the total karmic outcome. So in the human energetic structure, beside the electromagnetic fields of the negative, positive, and balance, which corresponding to the evil deed, good deed, and merit, there are also the total karma. So total karmic consciousness, okay, is the sum of all of our understandings over countless lifetimes. Okay, right. So you don't have to believe in the idea of there's many lifetimes just yet. Okay, but just knowing for now that because Buddhism, they have already figured this out more than 2,500 years ago, and this is the knowledge that they passed down to us. Okay, just accept this knowledge for now, and later on you can actually see it in your life. It doesn't have to be over so many lifetimes that you can see this consciousness appear, but within just one lifetime you can see it is already changing throughout day by day. Okay, let me repeat. The total karmic consciousness is the sum of all our understandings over countless lifetimes. Okay, let's say you are not familiar with the term over countless lifetime. Yeah, then just look at this lifetime. Right. Do you agree with me that every day when you go into this class, when you learning this information, your consciousness has been opened up, has been extended further and further, right? Do you agree with me on that? So we're talking about the total karmic consciousness. So, and it's related to the term over countless lifetime. And Chị Xuân Phạm were asking the questions how we know we have a loss of life before. Okay, she doesn't remember any life before at all. Okay, so let's just not go straight into the countless lifetime. Let's not go through many life before. Let's just look at this life, this only life. Yeah, chị Xuân. So this only life, do you agree with me that since you was a little girl until now, the amount of knowledge that you learn has already opened up your consciousness, and every day your awareness has been elevated to a different level?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and sometimes there's things happen in your life. You have to rely on the knowledge that you has learned in the past in order to solve it. Yeah?
Yes.
So you have used
Yes.
certain knowledge that you learned maybe when you was a child, maybe when you were in school, but now you have the opportunity to bring those knowledge into practice. Yeah? Okay, so we only just talk about this lifetime, and that's already happened. The total karmic consciousness already happened in this lifetime. But do you agree with me that there are so many things, okay, you unable to explain in your life? Okay, sometimes you go across certain knowledge that is so very familiar to you, even though that you didn't hear about it before. But it sounds quite familiar.
Yes. Yes, but that time I think I am dreaming. I pictured
I couldn't hear what you're saying. I think your internet breaking up.
yes, but in this time, in that time, I just think that I am the dream, and I don't think that is another life before. So I just say that oh, it's in my dream.
I couldn't get what you say. We only talk about this lifetime only. We haven't talked about another lifetime yet. We only talk about this lifetime only. Since you was a little girl, you grow up, you go into school, you go into university, you go into work, right? You have learned so much knowledge, yes? And that knowledge start in your conscious. So that knowledge eventually becomes your consciousness. All of the things that you know become your consciousness. We understand that, right? Okay. So sometime in your life, you have to rely on the knowledge that you have learned previously in order to solve the current problems that you have. Yes? You understand? Okay, right. And that's it just this lifetime. That's it just this lifetime. We have already opened up our have certain total karmic consciousness. Okay, get accumulate, get has been adding up to today, to our current life. Okay, so when we say the total karmic consciousness is the sum of all our understandings, it could be the understanding that we having at this life, but because in Buddhism they already know about this knowledge for a very long time, more than 2,500 years ago. Okay, so they have already observed and see that okay, a person's life has many lifetimes. Okay, and that many lifetimes could be replicated within our current lifetime. And within one lifetime only, all of this, of the total karmic consciousness, of the total karmic condition, of the karmic outcome could possibly just happen in one life. But since Buddhism has gone ahead of us, they come into this definition that the total karmic consciousness is the sum of all of our understandings over countless lifetime. Okay, so we understand it up to here, and then later on I will explain to you where is that countless lifetime go about. Yeah. Okay, and the definition of total karmic conditions are the sums of all our connections with people over countless lifetime. Okay, the total karmic condition are the sum of all our connections with people over countless lifetimes. And the total karmic outcome is the result of our lives over countless lifetimes. Yeah? The total karmic outcomes is the result of our lives over countless lifetimes. So, when we, through our hearing, seeing, saying, knowing, okay, what we heard, what we seen, what we say, what we know, okay, could possibly be just this lifetime or from many previous lifetimes, has been adding up, going, and that we receive from the outside through all the information of the message we receive from the outside through our hearing, seeing, saying, knowing, okay, pass through the layer of our human natures and emotion, and then begin to start in our subconscious, okay, and that process we call it imprinting. That process we call it imprinting. Okay, and so there's a in this garden there's a countless seeds that are still seed, but some of them has already grown up and become a plant, and some of them is already bear fruit. Okay. So there's three types of seed in our garden: the subconsciousness, the condition, the outcome. And some of the subconsciousness seed is still seed. Some of the subconsciousness seed has been grown to become a plant. Some of the subconsciousness seed has grown and become fruit. That's what we know at our knowledge today. Okay. So whenever you receive a certain knowledge, that is the fruit of the consciousness seed. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. And relate to what you're saying, sometimes you meet Chị Xuân, you said that sometimes you see a person and you believe that you met that person for a long time, because there's a seed in our is the conditioned seed in our subconscious garden, and the conditioned seeds in this garden maybe is the seed, but maybe it have already grown up to become a plant, and possibly is already bear fruit. So when the conditioned seed grow up, become a tree, bear fruit, okay, the fruit, the conditioned fruit, the conditional fruit, yeah, that is when we encounter someone in our life, when we met a certain people in our life, that is the conditioned seed has bear fruit. So it results in our life to become a connection, a person for us to meet. Okay. So in this garden, in the subconscious garden, there's a countless tree of subconscious. There's a countless trees of condition, and also there's a countless trees of the outcome. Okay. So during the process of imprinting, throughout hearing, seeing, sighing, and knowing, the consciousness get conditioned into our being through the layers of natures and emotion. So this imprinting process does not start from birth, but it actually starts from many over countless lifetimes already. And this consciousness must be believed, and it stems from our past life. And obviously nowadays science has already proven that the human subconscious is huge, is vast. And there's many people who have never practiced singing or playing an instrument before, but suddenly one day they sit down and play an instrument without going through training or practicing. So this is explained by the fact that the subconscious already contains this knowledge, the knowledge of knowing how to play an instrument. So Buddhism offers a simple explanation that during our countless past life, this knowledge was imprinting into us and is already stored there. So when the seed of this knowledge uncover and planted it will eventually bear fruit. So the subconscious garden, okay, in it there's 3 types of trees. The subconscious consists of our understanding accumulated over countless lifetime. Okay, many consciousness tree combined are called the total karmic consciousness. Okay, and the connections which the connection with people over countless lifetime, which called condition. So condition relate to the people and have been stored in our subconscious over countless lifetime. That's why sometimes you just meet someone at the first time and you feel like you have met them, you know them before, like Ji Sung type in the chat box. Okay, that's explain certain situation like that. That explain why sometimes you meet the certain people at a specific time. Okay, if it isn't explained by religion, faith, okay, then society cannot explain this phenomenon because we have conditions from previous lifetime. We have the certain connections from previous lifetime. For example, there's people we dislike at first sight, right? But there's also people we feel like siblings with immediately and become close friends for so many years. And yes, there's some people they fall in love at first sight as well. So how can we explain all of that if we don't rely on the knowledge of religions, faith, of Buddhism, right? So when we were first born, there were people who came into our lives, and then gradually they left, and different people come along after that. So up to this point of your life, some people have remained throughout, while others have left you, right? So if it isn't explained by religion, faith, then science cannot explain this phenomenon. So there's people we find very strange, we dislike them upon first meeting, but there's also people we feel as siblings with immediately and become close friends for so many years. So all the conditions, the connections combined are called the total karmic conditions. Okay. So if we do not yet have conscious thought, then things will naturally be arranged. But if we have conscious thought, we can shape our total karma according to our desire. And understanding this, okay, we cannot blame other people or even blaming ourselves. But we know that the total karma determined at that point in time, we have to bear the karmic outcomes. Okay, that's karmic outcomes. Okay, that point in time, we have to become fruit. Right. And it showed in the reality of our life. Okay. It shows in reality of our life. It's become either desirable outcomes or undesirable outcome. So through the process of imprinting, our subconscious has stored the seed of consciousness, the seed of affinity, conditions, and the seed of outcomes. So do you think that through the imprinting process, these seeds have already attached to the positive and negative electromagnetic field? Let me ask again. Do you think that through the imprinting process, these seeds in our subconscious garden have already attached to the positive and negative electromagnetic field? So let's look at our human energetic structure here in order for you to understand what I just asked. Then, when we say that the imprinting is when what we hear, what we say, or the message sending to us, go through our hearing, seeing, saying, knowing, pass through our human natures. It's go from when you hear something, when you heard something, for example, it's go into your body, past your body, and go into your emotional layer, and then go into your human nature layer. So between the human nature layer and the emotional layer, there is the positive, negative electromagnetic energy. Okay, so through the imprinting process, the seed, which is all of the things that you hear, you heard, you seen, you said, you known, that is already attached to the positive, the seed. Those seeds are the consciousness, condition, and outcome. They have already attached to the positive and negative electromagnetic field. They already attached to the positive and negative electromagnetic field. You understand? You understand it so far? Give me a nod or something. No. Because otherwise I can explain it in different way again. Do you understand it so far? Up until here, do you all understand? Tới khúc này cả nhà hiểu không? Let me know you understand so we can continue. Or I can explain it one more time in different way.
Hi, Miss Anne.
Yes.
Could you please explain it one more time in a different way?
Okay, sure.
Because I quite don't understand about the consciousness.
Okay. The definitions of our consciousness is all of our knowledge or our understanding, that accumulates over countless lifetime. So all of what you know, or what you have learned, become your knowledge, right? Of your knowledge of your understandings. Okay, that is the total, the sum of all your understanding, of your knowledge over the countless lifetime. So we call it our consciousness in our subconscious garden. So basically, consciousness means our understanding, our knowledge that has coming to us throughout our life. Yeah. So since you were a little girl until now, do you have many different understanding? Do you have learned so much knowledge already? Yeah. So that is your where do they start? Okay. Where is all the knowledge has started in your human energetic structure? They start in your subconscious garden. Right? Okay. So basically, the total karmic consciousness is the sum of all your understanding, the sum of all your knowledge that you have been learning throughout your life or so many different previous lives. Okay? And now it starts in this subconscious garden. Okay? Understand that? Similar with condition. The condition, yes. The total karmic condition is the sum of all of your connection with different people. Okay? Maybe in this lifetime, possibly in previous lifetime, and now all of that connection, all of that relations with other people, okay? You sum all of them up and it's become your total karmic condition and start in your subconscious garden. Get it?
I see. Get it.
Right. And similar with the outcome. So all of your current outcome, your previous outcome. When you was a little girl, you have a certain outcome. When you grow up, you become a teenager, you have certain outcome. And now your life turned into a different outcomes. Okay. So the total karmic outcome is the result of your lives, the result of your life. Okay. Could possibly in this lifetime or as in Buddhism, they believe it that is over countless lifetime. Possibly in many previous lifetime that you have different result. Okay, maybe in a lifetime you was a princess. Maybe in another lifetime you was a beggar. Maybe in a different lifetimes you was a queen, a beautiful queen. Maybe in another lifetime you was a strong general who led the whole army. Yeah, so that's a different result of life. Okay, so all of that, the sum of all result of your life over the countless lifetime, we call it the total karmic outcome.
Oh,
get it? Right.
Got it.
Yeah. So when on the process of imprinting, imprinting is hong tập. Imprinting is the message that we receive from over countless lifetime. Okay, you receive message all the time. Okay, every day you see certain thing, every day you heard certain thing, every day you said certain thing, every day you know certain thing, different things every single day. Okay, for so many lifetime. Okay, so the message that you receive from the outside through your hearing, seeing, saying, knowing, okay, pass through your layer of human nature, okay, emotional layer, and human nature layer. So it's passed through the outside and passed through into here. Okay, so when it's get into here, obviously it's go past the positive and energy of negative electromagnetic energy. So all of the consciousness, condition, and outcome seed, all of these seeds, they get attached to either positive or negative electromagnetic field. Yeah? So they have a certain energy that is stored in your subconscious. Okay, get it until here?
Got it.
Right. That's what I just all of the things that I just said earlier. Okay.
I understood.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
now let's continue. Now we got it to there. So we know that these they sit in our subconscious garden. Okay, they bear the certain energy. They have a certain energy. Okay, because of the imprinting process. Okay, and this garden has a gardener, the gardener named Mr. Will. Okay, Mr. Will is a gardener of this garden. Okay, Mr. Will. Okay, the yellow color kind of difficult to see, huh? Right. So there's the gardener of this garden named Mr. Will, who owns the gardens, and during the imprinting process, he is as a gardener through the layer of human natures and emotions before these have been storing in our subconscious garden. Okay, they already they already get attached to different electromagnetic energy. Okay, so they either have the negative energy, they could have the positive energy, and they could have balanced energy. Okay, so when Mr. Will visit the garden, okay, and looking after the tree, is it similar to us interacting with the seed in here? So let's say in the past we have imprinting a seed in the positive direction, okay, with let's say our husband. Then every time when we mentioned the word husband, Mr. Will go to visit the seed named husband in our subconscious mind. Okay, and if we mentioned about husband in the positive direction, in the positive inner state, okay, then Mr. Will go into our garden looking for the seed husband and fertilize it. Okay, he fertilizes it, he take care of it, he water it. Okay, and that's also result in our inner state is the positive energy. So if in the past we imprinting in the positive direction about our husband, then our inner state is positive. So, and by frequently mentioning our husband in a positive direction, over time, the seed in here will be watered by Mr. Will, and eventually it grow up, bear fruit, and become the good condition, good connection with our husband. Yeah, it results in the good connection. So the outcome of the connection with our husband. So it's worth imprinting in but on the other hand, if we imprinting in a negative direction, then the gardener will fertilize and water according to the past conditions. And if it has already attached to the electromagnetic field, just mentioning it will cause it to resurface. So due to our total karma, we do not have true peace or happiness. So our total karma determines the kind of family we're born into, okay, what our parents are like, okay, what the result of our life today. So, okay, is it determined in a way that guides our choice, because we have that total karma, which is the sum of our total karmic consciousness, the sum of our total karmic conditions and the total karmic outcomes. That's why there is a saying, prior to thinking consciously, a person's life is determined by their total karma. But when there is conscious thought, a person's life is still determined by their total karma, but they have the right to choose their total karma according to their desire. Okay, so we choose to rearrange our total karma, okay, and instead of letting the undesirable seed to sprout, we choose to imprinting the desirable trait in here. So when desirable traits sprout, undesirable ones do not appear, and we have the right to make these choices. We have the right to make these choices. So whether the trees bear fruit depends on our inner state. Okay, so if this fruit in here, the fruit in here get attached to the negative energies, then our life will, the occurrence, the reality in our life, the result in our life, the outcome in our life will appear to be undesirable. On the other hand, if the seed in our subconscious garden get attached into positive energy, then the result in our life, we will encounter desirable outcome. And when it gets attached to the balanced energy, then we do not receive undesirable outcome, nor receive desirable outcome, and that's we call the neutral outcome. The neutral outcome. Okay. So when the message is transmitted to us, it inherently had no positive or negative electromagnetic charge. When it is imprinting into our layer of human natures and emotion, if we, let's say if you heard the word crazy, someone tell you you are crazy, okay, and your inner state is negative, then in that case you are imprinting a negative seed in your subconscious garden, which will result in an undesirable outcome in the future in your relationship with the person who told you crazy. Okay, so from this perspective, if it's bear fruit, isn't it an undesirable outcome in the relationship? Yeah. So where the cause come from? It doesn't come from the message itself, but from the state, and it is our inner state. So if our conditioning, if our imprinting state is negative, it will result in an undesirable outcome in the future. So if our imprinting state is positive, it will result in desirable outcome in the future. Okay, so that is the crux of causality, and according to the root cause formula applied, the imprinting process, giving our different inner state that we bear in our inner being. So if we always contain the positive electromagnetic field and the balanced electromagnetic field, or in another word, positive energies and balanced energy, then the imprinting state within us will attract everything in the positive and balanced directions. And so all those seeds have potential to bear desirable fruit and in the futures. But of course we cannot idealize it this way, because over countless lifetime we did not have this awareness. Okay, so in the past we have imprinting a lot of different energies of sit in here already. So many of those states are negative, many of those are positive, and sometimes the imprinting does not happen in the usual ways either. Okay, and that's why, okay, if we want to avoid all undesirable outcome in our life, then our teachers have introduced to us a formula that helps us to overcome all undesirable outcomes, overcome all challenges in life. And if we be able to apply this formula in our life, we be able to overcome all challenges. It's called the formula for overcoming all challenges in life. All challenges in life. Okay. And it's go with 3 steps. There are 3 steps of this formula. Okay. The first steps, we when things happen to us, when the message happen to us, how to imprinting positive consciousness. Okay. This formula will help you to do just that. Okay. This formula will help you to imprinting all the positive balance to positive state in your conscious, in your subconscious. Okay. When an information coming to you, when a message come to you, basically you just know. You know that it is what it is, and receive it, and it is receive what that is. Okay, no more, no less. Just know it is what it is that, and okay, and there's no differentiation or no analyzing, no over interact, no reacting. Okay, you know when something come to you, when someone come to you, when things happen to you, when someone do something that cause you suffering, right? Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, you just know it as it is and receive it with the meditation of inner peace. Inner peace. So by maintaining inner peace meditation, okay, you'll be able to accept it what it is. You'll be able to receive it as it is. Okay. And then, after you do the first step, okay, whenever it's related to the people, the connection, the conditions, yeah, then the people, whenever it's related to the people who cause you suffering, the people who bring that challenges into your life, okay, you maintain the meditation of tolerance toward them. So this will keep your inner state staying in balance to positive. Okay, you tolerate the people, tolerate. So what is tolerance? Tolerance means that you do not see their fault, you do not see that there are problems at all. You see that people have no problems. Okay, they are no one. They can become anyone in the future. You are no one. You can become someone in the future, right? So we see no problems in people. Okay, and that is how tolerance should be. Okay, you don't see any mistake. You don't see that people bring in any problem for your life. Okay, so that is how you maintain the meditation of being tolerant. And then you start drawing the lessons from that challenges. You start drawing the lessons start gaining impressions and start achieving enlightenment, you're able to attain enlightenment, able to attain enlightenment. Okay, so at this point you basically maintain the meditation of appreciation and gratitude toward the lesson that you just learned. Appreciation, gratitude toward the lesson that you just learned, toward the impressions that you just gained, towards the enlightenment that you just attained. Okay, and by you do not appreciate and be grateful for the people who bringing that challenges to you. You do not be grateful and appreciate the challenges itself. Okay, we don't do that. We appreciate and be grateful for the lessons that we can draw out from that challenges. We appreciate the fact that we have attained enlightenment because that person came into our life and brought that challenges to us. So we appreciate and be grateful for the lesson, the impression and enlightenment that we draw. Okay. So if we applying this formula, then we'll be able to overcome all challenges in life. It's just that everything is happening simultaneously. Okay, and at certain time, we cultivating we imprinting in our subconscious garden in such a way that that when we're looking at the cause and effects occurring simultaneously. Okay, and sometimes we don't care about the past because we don't have the past. Okay, but we care about your inner state that you are having right now. What is your inner state when that challenges happened? Okay, what is your inner state? Is it maintain balance to positive? Then it's good. You'll be able to stay in inner peace. You'll be able to accept. You'll be able to accept is what it is. You know that that's the situation, that is the challenge, and you open your arm to receive it. Okay, you receive it with your heart. Okay, so then you are always staying in inner peace. Doesn't matter what is the message come to you, doesn't matter how bad they are, doesn't matter what challenges. So your inner state, okay, your inner state of inner peace, tolerance, appreciation, gratitude, this is your inner state. That determines your causality. Okay. So if you control your inner state, then you'll be able to control the event that happened to you. So it doesn't become challenges anymore. You'll be able to stand above all the challenges in life. Okay. So you don't try to manage everything in your life because you cannot really do that at all. But we're able to switch to controlling our inner state, right? What inside of us, we can control it. We cannot manage everything outside of us, but we can control our inner state. Yeah. So if we keep our inner state to stay in balance to positive energy by maintaining the meditation of inner peace, or by alternate the meditation of inner peace, tolerance, appreciation, and gratitude. Okay, and that's how you'll be able to imprinting the positive consciousness into your life. Even, yeah. So you all just receive all the good things. Anything that any challenges, it becomes a lesson. That's the lesson that you learn. That is that knowledge can go into your subconscious with the positive, okay, positive consciousness. Okay, So thank you for our teachers who given us this formula. And one other thing to help us to be able to remember to use this formula as well, okay, is the saying that our desirable outcome, the desirable outcome in our life, desirable outcome okay, brought by conditions, brought by condition. Brought by conditions. Desirable outcomes brought by conditions. Okay. And achievement granted by people. Our achievement, I think I'm missing the E here. Achieves, okay. Achievement, granted by people. Okay. So remember that all of our desirable outcomes brought by the conditions that we have in life. Okay. So if it is the favorable conditions, then it's great. We be able to achieve our desirable outcomes. And always remember that all of our achievements granted by people. Okay. Achievements granted by people. Okay. On the other hand, our undesirable outcome, okay, it is because inside of us we have unwholesome cause. Unwholesome cause. So we had the unwholesome cause. That's what result in the undesirable outcomes. Okay, and remember, because is the root cause is from me. Root cause is from me. Okay. So if we memorize this saying, this, then we'll be able to apply the formula for overcoming all challenges in life anytime. So you need to maintain the knowledge that all of our desirable outcome in life brought by the conditions that we have, okay, or the connections or the people that we know, or of our relationships, okay, that's brought by them. So we achieve certain thing in life, all of our achievements granted by those people, by those conditions, by those connections that we have. And whenever we encounter undesirable outcomes, we need to remember that because inside of us we have the unwholesome cause, and the root cause is from ourselves, from me. Yeah. Okay. And that is also the last part of the human energetic structure. And now we have already okay, so we have already going deep into the human energetic structure and have understood that the root cause of our life, okay, under religion's phase point of view, we call it we have the human energetic structure diagram that lead us to the conclusions that, okay, the cause of our life, the root cause of our life, under religions and faith point of view, that result in our, I couldn't find a pink color. Okay, here we go. The result in our evil deed come from our, these all come from our evil deed, good deed, and merit. Or in another word, is come from our inner state. Okay. And now we're going to look at the wisdom-based ethics in order to complete this diagram. Yeah. So in wisdom-based ethics, our teachers have introduced to us something called the triangle of reality. The triangle of reality. So now we're going to looking at the triangle of reality to find out what is the root cause of our life under wisdom-based ethics point of view. Okay. Right. Before I'm moving on to the wisdom-based ethics point of view of the triangle of reality, anyone have questions so far from the previous information? Previous knowledge. Anyone have any questions from the knowledge that we just shared before I move on to the triangle of reality? Okay. I check that there's no questions. Everyone, we're clear of what we has gone through so far, yeah? Okay. Let's look at the reality of the triangle of reality. Okay. We start with drawing a triangle, yeah? And with a triangle, here on the right corner, okay, we write material. On the top, we write energy. And on the left, we write information. Hello, chào thầy Lô Xuân Thống. Okay. So, do you agree with me that every object, every types of matter in this world has its own different materials? Okay. They all look different outside, right? So we have the terms called material manifestation. Material manifestation. Material manifestation. So if the material manifestation are different, okay, then their energies must be different too. Okay, and later all scientists explain that difference come from the internal information structure of each material. Okay, for example, the molecular structure of these metals, of the piece of gold. Let's say this. Let's imagine this is the piece of gold bar, and this is the piece of lead bar. Okay, this is a gold bar, and this is a lead bar. Yeah. Okay. So lead look different from gold. That is the material outside. They all look different from each other. Yeah. And that is because inside of them they have totally different energies and different from the molecular structure, which is the information, the structure inside of them. They are different. Okay, that's why they have, because of their different, the molecular structure are different. That's why they have different energies. Okay, and also material manifestation outside totally different from each other. Even what we say, the coal and diamonds, right? Coal and diamond, even though both of them are made from carbon, they have different energies, and then they look different when we see it result in the ground. So from now on, we agree with each other on the concept that whenever, okay, someone or some things appears different, we can describe it as having a different material manifestation. Okay. For example, a successful person and a failed person, they are different because they have different material manifestation. Likewise, a sick person and a healthy person, they are different because they in material manifestation, they are not the same. And a person who is joyful and happy, they totally different from the person who is suffering. Yeah, they have different material manifestation. Okay, so let's analyze further. A successful person and the one who failed, we can see them. You can see that their material manifestation completely different from each other. Yes. Then the energies of a successful person must differ from the person who has failed. Right? So everyone, are you still following me on this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Tường Vân. Right. So the energies of a successful person must differ from the person who has failed. So we can perceive that their energetic state, that's in their energetic state, are different. And we can conclude that the internal information of a successful person is different from a person who has failed. Okay. So all people are different. And the root of that differences lies in the internal information within us. Okay, because the materials manifestation are different because of the energies, but then the energies forms are different because it's all laid down from the status from the information. Okay, the internal information that lead to the energy, and then that leads to the material manifestation outside. So the key questions here is that what is the internal information within a human being? What is the internal information within a human being? Okay, because if we know what is the internal information within a human being, then we can change that information. Okay, and we can also change our energy. And thus, our material manifestation can change. A sick person can transform into a healthy person. Okay, and the sad person can transform into the peaceful person. So, this has already proven by science. Scientists have succeeded in transforming lead into gold in one of their research. So they conduct the experiments for years. Eventually, they had confirmed the news that everything that's lead can be transformed into gold. Okay, and they concluded that everything can be transformed into one another if we change its informational state. Okay, if we change its informational state. So in the end, lead will turn into gold. Okay, but obviously due to economically the process was not viable. Okay, it took too much money and too much time, so they didn't pursue it any further. But the important part here is that they proved that it was possible. Okay, so since then they even turned cow dung into edible meals and sold in restaurants. So they transformed seawater into fresh drinking water. Okay, and that's currently happened in Dubai. They converted garbage into organic fertilizer. Right. So scientists simply change the information structure, which in turn change the energies and then change the material manifestation. So if this is possible in the material world, then let's look at human life. Okay, can a sick person become healthy? Yeah. Can an unsuccessful person become a successful person? Okay, can they switch places? So after all, even successful people, they have failed many times before in their life, right? And can someone who not yet successful become successful? Can someone is full of resentment become someone who lives in appreciation and gratitude? So if we can change our information, we can change our energy, and then we change our material manifestation outside. Okay, so now come the big questions. The big question is that what exactly is the information within us? Okay, Tường Vân asked, the inner information is the pictures in the mind. Okay, don't get confused with the root cause formula of life. Okay, at the moment, previously, Thầy Long shared with us the root cause formula of life, and he has given us the conclusion that the root cause of our life comes from our mental image. Yeah, that is when we're looking at the scientific point of view. Is that okay, chị Vân? So with science, they know that everything comes from our mental image. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, but that's a scientific point of view. If we only looking at scientific point of view, we be a one-sided person, right? We cannot see the whole pictures if we only looking at one point of view. But we have to open up our view into the religion's point of view, the wisdom-based ethics point of view. Okay, so when we're looking at the religion's point of view, we understand that the evil deed, good deed, and merit is the root cause of our life. But that is only one point of view only. Okay, and now we're looking at the wisdom-based ethics point of view. Okay, and again, it is a separate point of view from the scientific point of view. They are not the same. Okay, so we do not mix them together. So we look at each of them, and then we have the big pictures, the whole pictures of what is it. Okay, what is the combination of what everything is to explaining to us for everything that happened in our life. Because so far, the scientists, they cannot explain everything. Okay, all the religion in the world, they cannot explain everything. Our ancestors, the people who passed down the wisdom for us, they also couldn't explain everything. But what if we can get all the best of the science, the best of religions, the best of wisdom by ethics? Okay, and we have all the best thing of the three point of view. Then would we be able to live this life better? Would we be able to achieve what we desire in this life, right? Okay, so now we are only looking at the wisdom-based ethics, and it's called the triangle of reality. So we will come to the conclusion later, and then we combine all of them together. Okay, And then we can live by all of them rather than just be one-sided person. Yeah?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for your questions. So, the information within us, what is it exactly? Okay, so the information within us is what we know, what we believe, okay, what we be, oh, sorry, missed typo. Anyway, so what we believe, what we understand. Okay, the information within us is what we know, what we believe, what we understand. What we know, what we believe, what we understand represent the information within us and the reality of our life. This is the triangle of reality, right? Reality. Okay. So when we mention anything, how we know it, how we believe it, how we understand it, represent the information within us about it, and the reality of our lives about it. So if we replace the word it here with any object, it means that when we talk about something, we know about it, we believe in it, and then how we understand it represent the information within us about it and the reality of our lives about it. Okay, let's looking at the different aspects of our life. Looking at different aspects of our life, such as happiness. Happiness. Okay. For example, when we mentioned happiness, what we know about happiness, how we believe in happiness, okay, how we understand happiness, represent the information within us about happiness and the reality of our happiness. Okay. And when we mention health, how do we know about health, how we believe in health, how we understand health, represent the information within us about health and the reality of our health. When we mention marriage, how we know about marriage, how we understand marriage, how we believe in marriage, how we understand marriage, represent the information within us about marriage and the reality of our marriage. When we mention finances, how we know about finances, how we believe in finances, how we understand finances, represent the information within us about finances and the reality of our finances. Okay? Would someone want to do this with me? I'm gonna write an aspect of our life down, and then can you just repeat what I just said? Let's say when we mentioned inner peace. Okay? When we mention inner peace. Can you just repeat what I said about happiness, health, marriage, and finances relate to the information within us? Anyone would like to try? Yes, chị Tường Vân, go ahead.
Is it a reality about happiness? It means when we mention about happiness, So, what we know about happiness,
Yes.
what we understand about happiness, and what we believe about happiness,
Okay.
representing the happiness within us,
The
and
information. The information.
representing the information within us, and representing the reality of happiness
Right.
in us.
Thank you very much. Awesome. So, when we mention inner peace, when we mention inner peace, how we know about inner peace, how we believe in inner peace, how we understand inner peace, represent the information within us about inner peace and the reality of our inner peace. Okay. Now we have another aspects of our life. Let's say our beauty. Would anyone want to try this? Beauty. Mạnh Khang.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to tell everyone, okay, the information within yourself? Okay, what do you form in yourself about the beauty, about your beauty? We start with when we mention beauty.
So when we mention beauty, we know what we know about beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Do I say what do I know about myself in beauty?
What you know about beauty, what you believe in.
What do you believe in beauty and what you understand about beauty?
That represent the information.
The information, information, energy.
The information. The information within you about beauty and the reality
of beauty.
Of your beauty. Obviously, with you, I should say the word good looking instead of beauty. Because beauty most often used for woman. Yeah, I'm going to change this word into good looking in the future. So do not create confusions. He doesn't dare to say beauty. He doesn't want anyone to confuse himself. Okay, good looking. All right. Thank you, Mankang.
Hello, Miss Anne. Can I
Yes.
repeat it once again?
Mm-hmm.
When we mention about marriage,
Yes.
how we know about marriage, how we believe about marriage, and
Believe
how we
in
understand about marriage, representing the information about marriage within us,
Yes.
within me,
Yes.
and representing the reality of marriage,
Of your
of
marriage
my
life.
marriage.
Yes, of your marriage life. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So we get
Thank
there.
you.
We get there. Okay. How about when we mentioned educating children education. Okay. Children education. Then what we know about our children education, how we believe in our children education, how we understand our children education, represent the information within us about our children education and the reality of our children education. And lastly, when we mention investment, what we know about investment, how we believe in investment, and how we understand investment represent the information within us about investment and the reality of our investment. Okay. So we have gone through all of our aspects of our life. Okay, and now we have a chance to re-examine them, re-examine all the aspects of our life to see what store within our information about all the aspects of our life and why our reality has come to what it is right now. Okay, so we be able to start answering those questions. Then we know, okay, we know that what we need to do next. Okay, so we want to change our reality. Yeah, we want to change our reality to the desirable outcome, to a better outcome. Then if we want to change our reality, then we change what we know, we change what we believe, and we change what we understand. Very simple, right? Very simple, right? So if we want to have a better outcome in life, have a harmonious marriage, yeah. If we are not having a harmonious marriage right now and we want to have a harmonious marriage, then okay, now we know exactly what we need to change. Okay, we need to change what we know, what we believe, and what we understand about marriage so far. Okay, and our reality will change accordingly. And that's why each person has different know, believe, understand of different things in life, because we hold different know, believe, understand. We hold different information inside of us. Okay, so if we align in knowing, believing, understanding, then we will share a similar reality. Yeah. Okay, most of us, we had different information, we had different know, believe, understand, right? But if we align in our information, we share the same information, okay? We align our knowing, our believing, our understanding, we share a similar understanding, as we share the same information, then we eventually will share a similar reality. Okay, so this perspective of know, believe, understand is quite vast, because some people will know different things. So at this point, our teachers, our master have introduced us to a very simple concept. And that simple concept is called the source concept. Okay, the source concept. And our source concept is going two directions. Source concept is going to two directions. Either is beneficial. If we have beneficial source concept, then we will achieve desirable outcome. If inside of us, the information within us or the source concept within us are full of detrimental, source concept, then the result in our life will be undesirable. Or in another word, we will reap undesirable outcomes in life. Okay? So, let's looking back the first statement that we were talking earlier. The information within us is what we know, what we believe, what we understand. Okay? What we know, what we believe, what we understand, okay, represent the information within us. And so, in other words, is our source concept. Our source concept represents the information inside us and define the realities of our lives. Okay? Let's move on to happiness. Okay, because it's quite simple, basically. For example, when we mention happiness, What do we know about it? What do we believe in it? What do we understand about it? Okay? Or put it differently, what is our source concept about happiness that reflect the information within us about happiness and define the reality about happiness, of how happiness we live? Okay, suppose we mention health. What do we know about health? What do we believe in health? What we understand about health? In other words, what source concept do we have about health that represent the information we carry about health and become the reality about health? Okay, and let's say someone is doing business. The source concept they have about business. Okay, let's say someone doing not finances, investment. Let's say someone doing investment. Okay, the source concept they have about investment determined their investment reality. And someone who get married, then the source concept they carry about marriage and family will determine their realities, their marriage reality, okay, and their family reality. So let's start tracing things back to the laws of cause and effect. Okay, if someone experiencing an undesirable marriage, yeah, if someone experiencing an undesirable marriage reality, then we can instantly understand that they carrying the I make a big mistake. That's the beneficial desirable. Oh yeah, I did it right, sorry. So if someone experience an undesirable marriage, yeah, then we can trace back, and we know that because inside of them they have all the detrimental source concept about marriage. Okay. On the other hand, if someone is living in inner peace, they enjoying a joyful life, okay, they have desirable marriage. That means they carry the beneficial source concept about marriage. So from this perspective, then we can explain all human life reality, all human life aspects, okay, where it's come from. Okay, so if we examine a life, re-examine our life issues, we can using all of the three perspectives. Okay, we can using all of the three perspectives now. That, yeah. Now we know that, okay, the root cause of our life, according to wisdom-based ethics under the triangle reality, is the source concept that we hold inside of ourselves. Okay? Hello, Elena. Right. So, for example, when we see someone with an undesirable marriage, okay, when we see someone, well, let's talk about marriage reality. Someone marriage reality. Marriage reality. If we live in a perfect world, we all want a harmonious marriage reality, right? Unfortunately, it's not a perfect world that we're living in. So when you're looking at someone and you say that, oh, this person, their reality, they are having an undesirable marriage right now. Okay, they have undesirable marriage. Undesirable marriage reality. Okay, then immediately from the lens of wisdom-based ethics, okay, immediately from the lens of wisdom-based ethics, we would say that this person holds information in the form of a detrimental source concept. detrimental source concept about marriage. Okay, regarding marriage, they are full of undesirable or the bad information, okay, or the negative information, right? In another words, or the detrimental source concept. So from the religious, from the religions of faith point of view, we know that this person who have undesirable marriage reality, okay, if we're looking at the religion's lens, then we know that because inside of them they have the negative inner state. Okay, they have the negative inner state. Okay, when they think about marriage, and from a scientific lens, from a scientific perspective, they carry the negative mental image regarding marriage. So there is three perspectives. When we combine all of these three together, allow us to understand the root of any human life reality. And they also show that every human life reality is changeable. For example, let's say someone with a health issues come to us. Yeah, there's no need to ask them why the health is problematic. Okay, with the knowledge that we have learned from the root cause formula of life, from the human energetic structure, from the triangle of reality, we are equipped with a very solid foundation to analyze human life. And if it helps us understand the root cause behind the health issues, and every time health is mentioned, either the inner state turn negative, secondly, they carry negative mental image about health, and third, they hold detrimental source concept related to health. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
Thank you. So let's take another example. Okay, if we meet someone and they have health problems, okay, maybe they have stomach issues. Okay, we can conclude that they may have a detrimental source concept about their stomach health. So when it comes to stomach health, they know all the diseases related to the stomach. They know which doctor they need to go to see. They know which medicine they need to take. Okay, they know all about the diseases or the information of the diseases relating to stomach, but they have no concept of what is a healthy stomach look like. Okay, if you ask any sick person, they can tell you all about the illness, how did it come about, how did it go, and what have they already tried but unsuccessful. But then they have no concept of wellness. They have no concept of being healthy. They have no concept of vitality. And our society today is spreading countless undesirable outcomes, countless detrimental source concepts about marriage, about health, about business, about relationships, about finances. Okay, a flood of detrimental source concept is being absorbed unconsciously by people every single day through social media, through news, through the people around us. And as a result, undesirable outcome, undesirable human life realities are widespread today, especially in the field of health. In fact, much of modern medicine is developing in a way that reinforces detrimental source concept, pushing people to rely solely on hospital, on doctor, because if people has a beneficial source concept about health, they wouldn't immediately turn to hospital, right? They would probably try to look it up online. So most of the when you look up online, most of the valuable information are are detriment to source concept. And when you look at internet, social media, you see an abundance of explanation on why marriages fall apart. But you barely had a handful concept that help you to build harmonious relationships. But all we want in life is a desirable marriage reality. That's what we all want. We all desire for a desirable, we all want a desirable marriage reality, don't we? We all want a harmonious marriage for the exact. Okay. So, what is our mission for the rest of our life? Now we understand this perspective. Okay, the missions for the rest of our life from this perspective is to develop the beneficial source concept. Develop the beneficial source concept in human life, so that we can attain desirable reality, life reality, desirable outcomes. Okay, every desirable result in life. Okay, and what we call the source concept of all source concept in human life, what now as we know them as a reference system. Reference system. So the source concept of all source concepts, we call it reference system. Reference system. So when the source concept of sub-concepts is oriented toward benefit, we call it standard reference system. Okay? Standard reference system. And with this system, we can reflect upon life and use it to reason and discern. Otherwise, all the instability in human life today would remain unresolved. So simply because we lack the source concept of source concepts to properly analyze it. And humanity is living in fear because it's simply because we lack the information. So to summarize this awareness, we must remember one thing, that humanity doesn't really have any problems. People don't have any problems. We simply lack the source concept, the beneficial source concept. Okay? People have no problem. They simply lack the beneficial source concept. For example, when your spouse starts blaming or resenting you, it's simply because they lack the source concept of appreciation and gratitude. And that's why they resent. Not because your husband or your wife has any problem at all, but because they lack the source concept of appreciation and gratitude. And if you meet someone who often get angry, okay, then because they lack the source concept of being tolerant. Okay? And that's why the undesirable source concept of anger emerge as in their reality. So if the beneficial source concept had been instilled into them, then the undesirable ones will fade away. Okay? And a person who suffers, okay, is not broken, they just lack the source concept of inner peace and happiness. So a suffering person, they also had no problem. They just lack the source concept of inner peace and happiness. So ultimately, people has no problem, human beings have no problems. They just lack the source, the beneficial source concept. Yeah? So a person who lives poorly, okay, they also have no problem. They simply don't have the source concept of what it means to live with integrity. So they end up living problematically. Okay. So similarly, if you are being employed, you have employees, they just need to source concept, how to be good human being and how to work. That's it. some people who struggle at work. Okay, some people who struggle at work because they lack the soft concepts of how to work, and they may also lack the soft concept of how to be and how to work. So as a person, we just need two soft concepts of how to be a good human being and how to work. That's it. Other people who work well, but maybe the company culture is weak because they lack the concept of being human. Okay, so being and working. So the reality, we just need to teach our children two things: how to be a good human being and how to do the work. That's it. So when it comes to being human, we can show our children how to enrich their wisdom, how to enrich their meditation, how to enrich their characters, how to enrich their virtue, how to enrich their competency, how to enrich their physicality. So by doing that, we'll be able to pass on all the beneficial source concepts to our children and guide them to live in how to live as a human being. And then later on, we can show them how to work properly. Okay. Let's take an example. When you use your phone or when you use your computer, we all know that they need an operating system, right? With the phone, with the computer. Okay. Without an operating system, they cannot work at all. They become useless. So all the phone or the computer that we use, we know that they need an operating system. So without an operating system, the machine can't really run. So a device without its operating system is like a person without their reference system. A person do not have reference system, just like a person, just like a device do not have operating system. So the various concepts we hold are like applications that get installed on top of that system. So when a person possesses the standard reference system, it's like a device equipped with a solid operating system. It can then install more applications, creating more diversity and functionality. And that's how our phone and our computer evolve and grow. Okay, so every human being, without exception, lives within three reference systems. On the scientific lens, religions-based lens, and wisdom-based ethics lens. Okay, no one can escape from these three perspectives. No one can escape the three lenses. However, most people don't clearly know what these reference systems are in relation to life. So they don't know how to lean on them when they reflect on their own reality. And they are unaware of which reference system they are operating from. Okay, so the last few days we have learned about the root cause formula of life, we have learned about the human energetic structure, and today we learn about the triangle of reality. So all these three together form the three standard reference system. So these called the three standard reference system. Standard reference system. Okay. So these three combined together form the three standard reference system in human life, allowing us to reason, explaining through all human life matters based on them. So from now on, whenever you reasoning about life, if you want to do something, you need to first clarify the mental image of what you about to do. You need to clarify the source concept before acting. And you need to establish a balance toward positive inner state before doing it. And if you don't have these three, then you should accumulate good deeds and merit. If you know that you're unable to have to hold the positive mental image inside yourself, you try very hard, but you're unable to have the benefits of source concept about what you want to do, and you're unable to achieve the balance to positive inner state, then remember that's because you are lacking of good deeds and merit. Okay, you are lacking of good deeds and merit. So just go out and accumulate, just applying the 7 offerings. We can apply 7 offerings in life to accumulate good deeds and merit. Okay, and that path is a light way to work in life. It is the one that we are now be able to grasp. So there is no way to bypass the 3 standard reference system at all. We must have them in our life. And if we act without thinking, with no concept, okay, with no source concept, with no clear mental image, with the negative inner state, then you already know what kind of result we're going to get, right? An undesirable outcome, undesirable reality, undesirable result instantly. So, what is it that you received this past few days? You have been given a complete reinstallation of your human life operation system. Okay? Right. So, we now know the information within us. Okay? That's the information within us. Here we go. So we now know the information within us. Let me draw another diagram. The diagram of the information within us. So we now have the full pictures. Okay. In order to start to change the information within ourselves. Okay. So information. Under the scientific lens, the religions, faiths, perspective, the wisdom-based ethics, okay, wisdom-based ethics point of view. Now we know that, okay, when we started to change the information within us, okay, when we reflect, with all reflection, reasoning in human life, human matters, will be understood through these trees. And any transformation must also be anchored in those same trees, the 3 things, so that we work more rightly, more precisely in this human life. Okay, so these are the under scientific point of view. We need to hold the positive mental image. So we have image. Info is its mental image. So we need to hold a positive mental image. Okay, with religions and faith, we know that the root cause of our life under religions and faith perspectives include our evil deed, good deed, and merit. But because we only want to achieve desirable outcome in life, we want to achieve desirable results, so we focus on accumulating good deeds and merit only. Okay, and under wisdom-based ethics point of view, we know that we need to gain the source, we need to learn the source, the benefits of source concept. It is going to be beneficial. Beneficial source concept. Okay. So we develop the beneficial source concept for wisdom, and next we install the beneficial source concept for meditation. Okay. So first we develop the beneficial source concepts for wisdom. Then we develop the beneficial source concept for meditation. Then we keep installing and begin operating in this life as a way that is greatly desirable. Just like a phone, we install a new application. Yeah. So the first source concept we all install after the foundational of the 3 standard reference system is wisdom. Okay, and tomorrow you will be introduced to wisdom. You will be lighting up the new light of your life as in wisdom with another teacher. So it's the first thing we must embed it in ourselves. We need to have awareness of. Okay, because wisdom and meditations, once wisdom and meditations are installed, any undesirable source concepts are naturally expelled, naturally disappear, while the beneficial ones are effortlessly attracted.